Hey, grace and peace, everybody. Um, just hear them out. I might be having some technical difficulties. Looked like I was having some lag and problems earlier. Now, do me a favor, just hear these people out. I told you all about my experience back in the days with the Catholic priest talking about him, a lot of stuff with Catholicism, the canon, Eastern Orthodox, or what we would call different branches of Christendom have come up. One thing I can give the or Catholic churches that when they had all type of crazy stuff, recorded events dealing with stigmata, occult experiences, they have been extremely well in dealing thoughts are, along with the dialogue. Just listen. Nobody trying to indoctrinate nobody. We just examining some things where truth meets scrutiny, the Berean way.
Committee of priests to an executive committee to lead the church before they can get a new bishop. Well, it turns out some of these guys were corrupt, really corrupt.
In the Anglican
Church, right? Or the Episcopal Church, which is part of the Anglican Communion.
Mm-hmm.
So one day, Customs found a container full of stuff, but in those things, there were guns and ammunition. But it was destined to the Episcopal Church. So at first they were like, no, we don't know what you guys are talking about. We're not expecting any containers. So they're like, oh, okay, yeah, so big mistake. No, after a lot of investigation, they realized, no, it was coming. And these guys, that's not the first time. They've been getting guns in and wiring money to somebody in the States to be able to get those. So here's the other issue, is that our Conference of Bishops in Haiti, here you have USCCB, the United States Conference of Bishops, right? In Haiti, we have CEH, Conférence Épiscopale d'Haïti, the Episcopal Conference of Haiti. We use the same word, Episcopal, and yet they're the Episcopal Church. We have the Episcopal Conference. So people heard the Episcopal Church, they're like the Catholic Church. And because our conference would put out notes, always the Episcopal Conference of Haiti. So they think we're the exact same thing. Plus, the Episcopal brothers, they're priests. They're called, they're
Yep.
And there's many till this day will simulate like, why don't you stop bringing guns into the country? I'm like, it wasn't me.
Right.
It wasn't my church. And it wasn't, to be fair, it wasn't all Episcopal priests. There was a few
Bad
bozos. Yeah, but unfortunately, really bad apples placed in the highest position that they could be placed in the country, in the executive committee. And it's not the whole Episcopal Church. And so I wouldn't throw away the whole Episcopal Church.
Well, just checking. Now's your opportunity.
Right? But and so I had to explain that so many times, but I realized they're just not gonna get it. They don't care. And then I'll make a difference. Somebody will realize it, or they'll make an accusation and I'll ask them to prove it. Of course, they can't, and so they call you stupid.
Right.
And
is the media playing along with this?
The
or
media
not so
was
much?
playing along. Okay. Now they're kind of a bit more quiet because I think they realized the blunders that they did.
Yeah.
But when this first came out, there were people literally calling for the heads of Catholic priests in Haiti. How that is. So yeah.
Because did the sex abuse crisis scandal hit Haiti in the way it did much of the Western world?
No.
So would you say that in Haiti there's like a general sort of reverence towards the priest?
There is.
Compared to here?
There is.
Yeah. So you didn't need this.
Correct. But I do feel that this general reverence is decreasing a little bit with things like that, like a container full of guns coming into the country in the name of the Episcopal Church. And people are thinking that's us. To be brokered by our cardinal, and the deal went bad, and so because it went bad, then people thought, well, it's the fault of the Catholic Church, when they were just trying to help, and so there are some things that happen that make it look like that maybe we don't have as much authority anymore. Also, I think there are cases of you hear of cases of brothers who get into a couple of different corrupt situations, maybe who fathered children, but it's not like proven, but people are talking about it.
You see what I have going on here, general, audio. I think everything else is the same. Orientation settings are disabled whilst live. All right. 2, and I don't either. Maybe this is a side discussion.
Like, why are you guys putting up a front? Like, stop putting up, so they feel like, okay, you guys are just hypocrites. So there's some of that out there. And of course, we have competition.
Are you seeing me and hearing
in
me?
some sense, like a competition, if you will. Especially the fundamentalists, they work hard to get Catholics out of the church.
Yeah.
And it's a sad situation. It's a sad state, but they have a concerted effort to do that. They have a plan. They don't just sit back and say, maybe people will come to our church. They go and get them. And even if they have to lie to them, I've had to deal with that as well. We've got voodoo practitioners. And now voodoo used to be looked at more as something that is sort of like a, practice in the dark kind of thing on the margins, even though a lot of people were doing it, but in hiding. More and more is coming out, and people are trying to promote it academically and certainly on social media. And the argument goes that as Haitians, we ought to be voodoo practitioners, and we ought to reject Christianity.
The white man's
the
religion.
white man's religion, because they say Europe, they think Christianity was founded in Europe, and that Europe is the one that why, as to, because slavery has existed for all of humanity, right? But there are certain Judeo-Christian principles about the dignity of the human person. When worked out, it is clear that you can't enslave people, which is why I am so proud of our popes. They've always been on the forefront defending the victims of slavery, going back to way earlier than the so-called New World.
Now listen to the history. Now, slavery has existed. All right, let me turn this down. Listen to what's being said. Listen. Smoking. Maybe Constantine was smoking and drinking. Was John smoking and drinking? Origin? Who we talking about? Huss? Who we talking about? He talking about Matthew, Mark, Luke. I hope you think Paul was smoking and drinking? Or you talking about the people Athanasius? Let me read this thing. He said, most of the greatest minds. Well, I'm gonna have to leave that alone because y'all, because these folk, y'all don't want no, y'all, some truth y'all don't want. Some truth I know y'all don't want. All right, he said, listen to this right here. Seminary Cove said, y'all may not know this, but your favorite
some black natives in the Canary Islands were enslaved, and the Holy Father was like, you release them by this date or else.
Now listen to you hear what he's saying. I will deal with the history. We're looking at everything that's due the level of discussion that's taking place. They smoking, relaxing, drinking, whatever. But we're looking at a few things. Listen at this history. Listen at this history. And that's what she's talking about when she walking. Listen at the history that's being said. He know more history than some of. Never mind.
else all of y'all are excommunicated.
Mm.
Period.
Pope Eugene the Fourth.
The fourth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
Eugene the Fourth. Now, and it's been, most of the Holy Fathers has been like, if a Holy Father spoke about slavery, it was condemning it. It was saying people should be treated equal because we're created in the image of God. So Christianity provides the language, the concepts, the philosophical underpinning of human rights. And so even the people today that are saying, in the name of human rights, we should reject this. No, you don't want to reject all of Christianity, because if you do,
you don't want to see what comes back at you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they have Paul Kango, I think, is the author.
Yeah.
I think The Worst of Iniquities, it's called, The Catholic Church on Slavery. Yeah. And so I just got it. But the first thing I read was about Nicholas V. It's like, what is it with this guy? So it looks like he wrote to the King of Portugal to let him know, okay, so you could enslave people in Africa.
Here we go.
Yeah, you could enslave them. Now, here's the thing, though. The slavery in Portugal, yeah. The idea is,
if you find that Pope Saracens, pagans, and other enemies of Christ, wherever they may be found. Issued less than a year before the fall of Constantinople, the bull may have been intended to begin another crusade against the Ottoman Empire.
Right. So some of the argument, so the word subjugate is what people say. So that's slavery. That's to bring them to servitude.
Right.
Right. Okay. So yeah, Saracens, Arab Muslims. Now, this was a time after him, we continue this whole tradition. So it's really is that what was the context in which he was talking, and what exactly did he allow? And some people think he was actually told one thing by the king and his goons, and so he believed that they needed like some kind of a blessing to help fight against the enemies of the church that were trying to annihilate the church and Christendom. But really, those people themselves are the ones that went ahead with the kind of slavery that we saw play out. So he wasn't blessing the kind of slavery that came out, but nonetheless, people see his
Christianity affirms the dignity of the human person.
Yes.
It makes sense that the person has unalienable rights, which come not from government
Right.
or from their own willing, but from God.
Exactly.
You get rid of God, you get rid of the intrinsic dignity of the
Absolutely.
human person. Now try to explain to me why enslaving another person is wrong.
Exactly. Especially when
you might say, well,
I don't like it.
We don't work well as a society. Like there might be an
Sure.
argument, like pragmatically, why this isn't going to work. But as far as it being intrinsically evil, I don't think you can make that case.
In the particular context of Haiti and Haitian apologists against Christianity, what's even more interesting is the fact that if that is the argument used, it proves too much. If to say that, well, because those people used to enslave Haitians, therefore they cannot give us any truth. So Christianity, which they brought over, cannot be true. We should. Was started from the slave trade. We beg your forgiveness. That should never have been done, right? So basically what I'm seeing is that, oh, you mean original sin is universal? Yes. Humanity will find a way to mistreat others, will find a way to subjugate others, to build ourselves up, and to be greedy. That is part of the consequences of original sin. And that's why we need Jesus. Also, it's very interesting that people think Christianity was born in Europe. So one thing I like to say is when people try to pitch back to Ethiopia in Africa, he brought the gospel back to Africa. And of course, even before that in the Old Testament, of course, you remember Solomon, the Queen of Sheba, that's in Africa. So there are relations. To this day, some in Ethiopia, they do believe that they are descendants of King Solomon to this day, right? But more than that, Simon of Cyrene, African.
Augustine.
Augustine, the greatest theologian that most people would say the greatest theologian. I probably lean toward Aquinas, but many would say
Aquinas
Augustine,
would probably say Augustine.
Right? Aquinas would say Augustine is the greatest theologian. The theologian. What to believe about Jesus Christ. And so when people try to throw away the whole enterprise, it's like, you don't know what you're doing. But because people are informed by TikTok these days, they're not informed by history. And so that's why, even some of some apologists will try to claim to the mythicist view that Jesus never existed.
Wait a minute now.
Did kind of thing, the stupidest thing that you'll hear. And obviously in academia,
go to the Apple store. I'm all right. Good. Yeah, you just go ahead. You say you're going to go in there and listen. Listen, the whole thing is, to me, it's acting up. Are y'all hearing this? Is this thing, are they going in and out? You can hear me now. I don't even have the mic. This is going through the laptop. I'm trying to figure out if it's this laptop or is it the Wi-Fi in here? Because I'm with these other folk. I don't know what Wi-Fi service they got. I might have burnt up all their speed or whatever you call that stuff. I don't know about this stuff. I know it started acting funny yesterday. I can't even see some stuff popping up. I see not too long ago. All right, Roger sent the video. That might have been an hour ago. I don't know what's going on. And my phone too. I don't know. I think it could be the service.
Like, that's cute. Yeah, you could do whatever. But academia is not talking about that. Like that, that question is in a sense resolved. Same thing with the existence, the historical existence of Jesus. It's resolved. But people throw it all in as they're trying to find arguments to destroy Christianity, to destroy the Christian faith, especially in the context of Haiti, post-colonial Haiti. And again, with that. And so I understand that hurt and I received that wound. And so some of those people are really aggressive. A couple of them I've wanted to kind of debate, but then people have helped me to realize that actually, Father, you couldn't, because they would get so wild